Hi, Jane. Thank you for coming.
Oh, hi. Well, it was so hard for me to get here today, but I'm here.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. So as we discussed last session, CBT is very structured kind of therapy. So before we start any session, we set the agenda, work through it, and recap at the end. So today's agenda will be reviewing the homework.
Yeah, I brought my homework.
Well
Yeah,
done.
Yeah.
And I'm also thinking about looking at a modality we use in CBT called thought record today. Would you like to put anything on the agenda?
Well, I wonder, I'm not really clear about CBT. I know you explained it a bit last time, but if you could just tell me a little bit, about that again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we will work through these three agendas for today. So as I tried to explain last week, CBT is a structured therapy, and it works on the premise that our cognition, which is our thinking, physical reactions, emotions, and behavior are all interrelated, but we cannot easily change our emotions or our physical reactions. So in CBT, we try to change our thoughts or behaviors, and since our behaviors, physical reactions, thought, and behavior are all interrelated, when we change our thought, then our emotions will follow. So that's the basic assumption in CBT.
Well, thank you. That makes more sense now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's review the homework. So
Yeah,
we
I do.
went through the cognitive model last week. So have you tried to do any situation and fill out the cognitive model?
Yeah, I did, and I brought in some records of that.
Okay.
That you asked me to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you share that with me, please?
Okay. Well, the scenario was that once again, I freaked out. I got anxious, and I couldn't leave my home to go to school. And the thoughts that came up were really, really bad. And I can tell you what they were. The thoughts were, I'm worthless, I'm useless, I'm a bad mother because I couldn't get out the door because of my anxiety. And I just wanted to go back into the bed. So my feelings were that I was afraid. My physical reaction was I felt really exhausted and tired, and I went back in the bed and I felt heavy. And my behavior was that I just wanted to stay at home. I didn't want to go out the door. I didn't want to do anything at all. So I don't know if I did my homework right, but
I think you did brilliantly.
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
we need to continue doing this, and today we are going to do what we call thought record. So essentially, thought record is looking at your thoughts and scrutinize them, and we can proceed. Here is a
Thank you.
yeah. I'll give you some more for homework.
Oh yes, this is very helpful. Thank you.
So now we are going to look at your thought and examine the evidences for and against.
Okay.
But before that, can you tell me the situation again? You can use the example of the homework.
Well, my thoughts were when I couldn't leave the house. The situation was it was me. I couldn't leave the house. I felt anxious.
Your thought was?
My thought was that right away when I got stuck at the door, I felt like I'm such a worthless garbage person. I'm such a piece of junk. I'm useless. Those are my thoughts. My thoughts were I'm useless and I'm no good.
I see.
Yeah.
And what were your emotions?
They were really mixed. I felt ashamed. And I also, my past with anxiety and how COVID really affected me going outside because I was afraid to get COVID. So I felt very anxious too at the same time. But I would say the anxious feeling made me panic.
I see. So you felt ashamed and you were anxious.
And panic.
So we will try to rate your emotion. The third column on the table is rating your emotion.
Yes.
So on a scale of 0 to 100, 0 being the most relaxed you have ever been, and 100 being the most terrified you were. So how do you rate your anxiety?
Well, in that specific moment, I would put it at about a 75.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said you felt ashamed as well.
Yeah.
Let's try to rate that emotion on a scale of 0 to 100. Where would you put it?
Like an 85. That would have been a really big feeling for me at that very moment.
Okay. So let's work on the thoughts that were going through your head. You said I'm worthless.
I'm worthless. I'm a garbage person. I'm useless. I can't function as a student, a mature student. I can't function as a mother. I couldn't get to my class on time. And all these thoughts were swirling in my head when these feelings started to bubble up.
So it seems to me like these thoughts can be summarized as you feel like you were worthless. We can look at them separately. We can look at the thoughts individually. So is it okay if we just choose I'm worthless and work through the table?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm fine with that, thank you.
Okay. So what are some of the evidences that made you say I'm worthless?
Well, you know, the evidence is that in the past I haven't gotten to school on time, and I was missing an exam here and there, and now I feel like I'm not going to graduate my program.
Okay.
So if I don't do that, I must be a bad person. I must be a person who can't function or do anything.
Okay.
And that's not, it doesn't make sense now that I say it out loud, like, to be honest with you, because it was just,
Do you think of any other reason why you thought, or reasons that would back up your thought that I'm worthless?
Well, when I was a little girl, I had a hard time getting up and going to school on time, and my mom would yell at me and say, "You're worthless, you're garbage. Only good girls go to school and you're not." And now that I say that out loud, I can maybe see that that's where that thought might come from.
Might be. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I never connected that till this time.
Okay. So let's go to the next column, and let's. Are there any evidences that are against I'm worthless?
Against I'm worthless. Well, I actually did finish my degree 2 years ago before the pandemic, and even as a mature student, I was able to return to school and finish a degree.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So I wonder if that could be used as evidence against that thought.
It definitely can be used.
It
yeah.
could be? Now that I say that out loud, I think you're right. It could be evidence. Thank you.
So, is there any other evidence against the thought?
Another evidence would be that I actually made dean's lists. So, you know, even though I had 2 little kids at home, I made dean's lists that year.
That's
My
impressive.
grades were really good. Yeah.
Putting these evidences together, can you come up with a balanced thought that reflects both the evidence for and evidence against?
Well, I think if I were to try to balance it out, I would see that even though I've been feeling anxious lately, you know, I explained before, I was afraid of getting COVID, and it really made a hard time for me to leave the house. But you know, if I really think about it, I'm not useless, because even though that happened, I still managed to function. I still managed to do many months of my current program with good marks until the recent month before. And in my past, I was a very good student as well. So that is strong evidence that maybe I'm not a worthless person who cannot function. Maybe this is just something temporary.
Okay. So you will rewrite your emotion, but we need to do this thought record immediately after the situation.